accurately, any reasonable person's evaluation of the situation would read more like, and fuck, then there's the attempts at trying to tell us it's all going to be okay. You see Bill Gates and, tragically, the science communicators who've been paid to regurgitate his gibberish, telling us all that we're going to invent our way out of the problem, like we're going to rely on some gizmo that hasn't even been invented yet, being manufactured on a large enough scale to actually make a difference. I will become violently ill if I see another cartoon of a little box fan somehow sucking carbon out of the air, narrated by a cheerful liberal telling us that market economics is going to get us out of the problem that market economics got us into.
The more of these technologies we deploy, the cheaper new and better technology gets. The cheaper they get, the more people use them, and so on.
You see liberal politicians with a radical plan of action to ensure a just and happy transition to green energy by 2030 or 2050 or 2080 or some other date that they've deemed achievable that's way outside of the realm of their own electoral cycle. Like, I'll vote for the better candidate and I'll vote to try and keep them in, but I don't even have a vote in American elections, and those seem to be the ones that, like, matter at all. And even if my candidate gets in and stays in, are we sure the policies will be enacted the way that they want them to? Like, we can only vote, or according to my YouTube analytics, most of you can only vote every few years. How many elections do we even think are left before the literal end of the world? Strapping on my waders and my air filtration mask to swim down to the polling station so I can vote for Sir Keir Starmer's Labour Party to please make transgenderism illegal next year instead of this year. All of these liberal answers completely disregard the rapidity of climate change, and none of them take a reasonable look at how we actually got here. As David Wallace Wells puts it,
many perceive global warming as a sort of moral and economic debt accumulated since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution and now come due after several centuries. In fact, more than half of the carbon exhaled into the atmosphere by the burning of fossil fuels has been emitted in just the past 3 decades, which means we have done as much damage to the fate of the planet and its ability to sustain human life and civilization since Al Gore published his first book on climate than in all the centuries, all the millennia that came before. The United Nations established its climate change framework in 1992, advertising scientific consensus unmistakably to the world. This means we have now engineered as much ruin knowingly as we ever managed in ignorance.
And somewhat whimsically,
the majority of burning has come since the premiere of Seinfeld.
Jerry! Hear what's going on out there, buddy? Some kind of ecological collapse? The planet's on fire.
Leave me alone, Kramer. I'm going back to bed.
So when I started researching and writing this 2 years ago, I thought that it would be really funny to have a joke about Seinfeld in my video about climate change. I suppose that brings me to the purpose of this essay: depression, doomerism. The belief that we are all fucked and there is absolutely nothing we can do to stop climate change. I've noticed a pattern in my offline friends as well as in the online leftist content sphere where we all keep on invoking climate change only in order to say everything's fucked. It's the last on a list of reasons why everything sucks. Fascism and recession and so on, and not even to mention climate change, except that not to mention is actually extremely real. We are effectively not mentioning climate change. We are just evoking climate change as the idea of a completely insurmountable obstacle. I can't pretend I don't understand the impulse to not look at the problem, of course. I did legitimately make myself deeply miserable by reading more into climate data and the politics surrounding it. The fail-safe mechanisms, as it were, that keep us locked on course for a total climate apocalypse. David Wallace Wells breaks down the escalating devastation of climate change according to the degrees of warming reached due to carbon emissions.
At 2 degrees, the ice sheets will begin their collapse. 400 million more people will suffer from water scarcity. Major cities in the equatorial band of the planet will become unlivable, and even in northern latitudes, heat waves will kill thousands each summer. There would be 32 times as many extreme heat waves in India, and each would last 5 times as long, exposing 93 times more people. This is our best case scenario. At 3 degrees, southern Europe would be in a permanent drought, and the average drought in Central America would last 19 months longer, and in the Caribbean 21 months longer. In northern Africa, the figure is 60 months longer, 5 years. The areas burned each year by wildfires would double in the Mediterranean and sextuple or more in the United States. At 4 degrees, there would be 8 million more cases of dengue fever each year in Latin America, and close to annual global flood crises. There could be 9% more heat-related deaths. Damages from river flooding would grow 30-fold in Bangladesh, 20-fold in India, and as much as 60-fold in the United Kingdom. In certain places, 6 climate-driven natural disasters could strike simultaneously, and globally, damages could pass $600 trillion, more than twice the wealth as exists in the world today. Conflict and warfare could double.
Part of what makes the question of our planetary future feel too bleak to even consider, makes part of our total annihilation feel a certainty to many, is the nature of the problem of climate change as a socio-politico-economic issue. We live in a world divided by... What? I can't be sad and gorgeous? Grow up! We live in a world divided by global capitalist imperialism. There aren't just poor countries and rich countries, a global north and south, a first and third world. There is an imperial core and an imperial periphery. And the imperial core countries, definitionally, exploit from and steal from the imperial periphery. Okay, a map usually helps people understand things like this a bit better. Behold the walled world. The most heavily policed and militarized borders in the world, and inside of them only 14% of the population, but 73% of the wealth. This isn't a perfect map. It doesn't show, for instance, the varied relationships between the countries outside those borders, or how they have different relationships to the countries within them. It also paints this as pretty black and white. Countries are either in or out, and that's unhelpful because of the ways that the boundaries and flows of imperialism can shift and change, and also because it can't tell us a very important aspect of its own visualization, that these borders are there to keep people in, as well as to keep them out. The imperial periphery is, in a very real sense, thanks to the limits that wealth places on freedom of movement, ghettoized. As David Graeber put it in Direct Action and Ethnography,
a lot of us were already arguing that the whole point of free trade was in fact to confine most of the world's population in impoverished global ghettos with heavily militarized borders, in which existing social protections could be removed, and the resulting terror and desperation fully exploited by global capital.
Nonetheless, as a visualization, it does bring together some political truths we're aware of implicitly, that the countries responsible for historic imperialism and their white majority offshoots and settler colonial projects continue to benefit from that legacy in a material way. Liberal discussions of who is responsible for climate change and who should fix it treat global politics like an even playing field, as though all countries compete on an even footing in the marketplace of global capitalism. In fact, the richest country in the world and its allies, the other richest countries in the world, are responsible for not only a disproportionate share of emissions, but also responsible through financial mechanisms for a lot of the way that other countries emit too. International bodies like the UN measure the progress and success of countries according to a model based off the countries in the imperial core, not only using wealth, but a specific pathway of industrialization and then eventual shift from an industrial sector economy to something else. This framework of human development is ahistorical. Countries in the imperial core underwent industrialization off the back of colonialism, and then the domination of other countries and even chattel slavery. In the US and UK, our economy is deindustrialized, that is, shifted from an industrial sector to service sector economy, because the industrial workers were gaining organized class consciousness and the government's outsourced industrial manufacture to the imperial periphery to force the working class into jobs without unions. Are imperial periphery countries supposed to follow this same pathway? How?
This is starting to look more and more like America making a selfie video in its garage with its 2 Lamborghinis and its bookshelf and telling all the poor countries they can be just like this if they work hard and subscribe to its private Discord channel. Am I wrong? To describe the scope and nature of the problem of climate change requires these digressions into so much else, because without it we kind of have a nonsense map of countries with huge emissions but not enough resources to deal with those emissions, and the best answer liberals give us is that those countries just need to develop more. They need more time, because using fossil fuels is just a natural part of human development. In reality, there is a system of coercion and incentives here which encourages every nation to be as dependent on oil as possible, because to do so makes America richer. It's not just that the American empire runs on oil, but the concept of value and the primary financial mechanism for structuring the American empire, the dollar, is intrinsically linked to oil. Since the US was historically a net importer of oil, it used to be that the value of oil and the US dollar had an inverse relationship. When the price of oil went up, the value of the dollar would go down, until about 2010, when the US became a net exporter, at which point the relationship reversed. Now if oil is worth more, the dollar is also worth more. The commonality between these two relationships is the US always gets the best deal on oil sales.
This isn't an informal relationship either. In August 1971, in a deeply jokified move, Richard Nixon depegged the value of the dollar from gold and pegged it to oil instead. This was a response to the enormous debts that America was generating due to, among other things, the Vietnam War. As a result, oil is always traded in US dollars, sometimes referred to as petrodollars. Of course, the Seinfeld premiere wasn't until 1989 when Ronald Reagan left office, so we can't pin this all on Nixon.
If your currency has more value, it has more power. It's important to understand money as instruction.
Side note. Can we see that I'm live? I don't think so. No, it's not showing that I'm live. That's great. It's awesome. That's lovely. I thought it showed it once. Why isn't it showing it now? And also, so I need to look it up. Inscription symbols. Because I cannot tell. I know that's the mycologist. I know that's delete one and get a free bone. But what's this? I think this is a triome, and this. Not sigils, not icons. Thank you. Backpack, fireplace, pick apart. Cost, tribe, sacrifice, bomb. Cave of Trials, yes. Trader. Whether I want more trader or mycologist. I have 2 pounds. I have nothing else to choose, so it's better to go to the trader now. Adder, Alphon, Ring, Chucky Vulture, Walker and Coyote, Ringworm, Merle. I don't want that. But I think I'd have to if I wanted to the other one, so Alphon. It's between these 2 for me. I guess this one too, but can I protect this? Or I guess, what could I put on this if I wanted to make it stronger? Do I have any spare sigils? Smelly, nah. No. This, but I upgraded it. This isn't too helpful. Can I double? Ah, whatever. I think that's 3-3. That's like the normal, I don't know. Strange larvae. And sure. You get rid of the bullfrog or whatever. Yes, you're the least useful. Reply bullfrog. Scroll, outform, strange sharpen, beehive. And fuck you. Alright, so I want to put something that hits here and something that here. Alright. What's your power? 3 power, 1 health. So I want to put the Arc Fawn in this row, put the larva here, and then put the squirrel here and attack next turn with the stink bug. So this. Oh yeah. I can't kill it. This is awesome. This is lovely. Yeah. Nothing I can do now with this. If I put this thing back here, you'll be useless, I hope. Thank you. But even still, I think... Oh, you're gonna kill my larvae. I have a bee, a squirrel. Oh, and you take on every tribe. That's nice. I was wondering what use that had. So it's bee, squirrel, and these here. And I should win right now. Yeah, easy. And let me look at my deck, and I have no seconds at all. And my most common cost is 2, 1, 1, 3, 2, 2. And 1, so 1, 3, 1 bone. What is this? Occupy, whatever. Mycologist isn't useful because I don't have any. So instead, what are you doing? Attack. Oh. Done. This maybe. This could possibly be useful. Not this, not this. This is always useful. This could be useful, whatever. I think this. Just got to put in some work. Now come the hooks. I got the smoke. Oh my god, I forgot about Snake Squirrel. You have infinite sacrifices and evolve. That's mean. You're gonna steal my squirrel. But with second in hand, that's doable. So, okay. Squirrel. Second. Oh, you're not gonna do it yet? That's nice, thank you. You're just one, so I can put Sting back here. I can... Don't care. Boom, boom, boom. Easy. Oh yeah, the bait bucket. Nothing I can do here really. Fish. Yeah. So now I need to get out. I have enough for any in my lunch really. So using this to get the adder. Porcupine. Amoeba. And I should kill right now. Yeah. Without a hitch. It went without a hitch, I'd say. Amoeba, long L, strange lava. If I can combine this. Although, would that keep... Would that keep the +1 attack? I wonder. Choose one card, get new items, trial, more time. I don't want to go through the chapter because I think this would work fine. What's my deck like? It's either this or that. This for bifurcated strike or this for witty sacrifice, so I can put it on a card. What do I have? So I have this one, which is like a nice sigil for a briefing card. Like me or the wolf, but I don't think I can put any more. So this bifurcated strike with poison is nice, I think. Otherwise, black card. What do I put that on? Maybe Niga, stick back. I think popcorn is the most useful. Yeah, I don't care about the story, sorry. Birds are stinky. Are you? Yes, you're the one. So I can do. So you're going to kill this one with attacks. And you are going to go here. And you, well, you're not going to block this exactly, but you're enough. Tony, rebuke. Oh, yeah, that's it, I guess. And trial time. Trial of Bones, knockout. Trial of Hell, naked to dot. Trial of Kin. I think the easiest would be Trial of Hell. 3. Easy, got it. These are all interesting. Wolf Camp with behind Warren with this isn't hold on. Plate, alright. I could put this on, but no, I don't have any other unbound cards, so and this as well. Evolve Bat or Behind Wall. Well, because I always start with a squirrel. Carver is not confused to me, but whatever. And I'll keep my squirrels as they are. You're going to be flying, so I can. I mean, you're not going to. Whatever. You both have what you're better with. So, I guess this for now. Because you're not going to attack like that. Oh, and I can't play the second card because I don't have enough spaces for sacrifice. Oh my god. Evil. Nothing I can do right here. Yeah, I don't have enough spaces for sacrifice, and my cards are too good to sacrifice by themselves. But I want it irregardless, or is it regardless? Oh. items? No. This would be. What would this be? I can't. Mycologist? No. However, no. So. This. This. Boring. More power. Sure. I'm gonna bring this to range. Sure. That's what I'll do. Amazing, right? Sacrifice this thing. It's alright. Scroll it. What was that? Whatever. Yes! That's awesome. Kill both. Larva. Need to start outputting damage. So, scroll 1, scroll 2, amalgam, you come from this. No, I can't. Just start doing damage, so. Oh, thank you, Amalgam. Sure. How many pellets? 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I just take those 4, then I can just kill instantly. What's more for 8 or 10? My god. Yeah, I'll do that. Sorry, but I'm boring like that. Shall go to and now the moon. Yeah. Worthy sacrifice and like an unkillable count would be great, but I already have my 1 scroll, so that's fine. I'll form a pronghorn. Or porcupine. I think. Or sacrifices and lives. I think porcupine or like a big body. Or this. Yeah, I think I'll put it on amalgam. Easy. Simple. But first the trials. And then I have to step my out into. Hello, Vishy. Strange cabin, presented with an opportunity. Trials. Trial of Rarity. Trial of Ring. Trial of the Swift. It's between these two, obviously. I don't have the ring ring. So I have amalgam, I have Two of those evolving ones. Or I have like a few sprinters. Every sprinter is more likely. Amira, Wolf, and Pronghorn. Success. Thank you. One round. I don't need those. Twice. This obviously. Skins. I don't have those. Airborne. Nope. Hold on. Don't have any airborne. Like one maybe. I think the wolf is. I think I'll bet on the wolf. Yes. I got the freaking wolf. Success. Black goat, ambidextrous. I think I'll take the black goat. Easy. Thank you. Thank you, Leshy. Come on. There you are. Leshy, my boy. My guy. I'm ready to play. What's it? I can't leave, my guy. I can't leave. So. Did I get the smoke? Bring out the great white. Scroll to here to Pronghorn to great white, and I hope I can keep my cards. It's fine. Alright. I'm stupid. I'm really, really stupid. Oh. Well, I wasn't looking, so I have to take a new scroll, and then I can put my wolf here. You have 2 health, so easy choice. Yes. Take those creatures away with you. Damn. Sorry. For work. Kill him. Defeat Lecce. Well done.
Did I just... I think I just beat him! Oh.
Here comes this guy. I'm not going to play this. I always know it. What if I don't? What if I don't take the camera? Come on, Russian, do something. Done. One. I do not despair. Yes. Come on. I know. I know. Oh, Messi.
Whoa.
This is my deck. Oh my god, it's me. Number one. And how long have I been streaming? I don't know. Is anyone joined? No, no one is joined, so it should be alright. I'll check how long the stream's been on. One viewer, though I don't know if that's me on my phone or a real person. But whatever. 45 minutes. It's a good time, right? Like 5 to 10 seconds though, right? That's pretty good. Alright. So I will escape stat screen and bang. Then I will look where to acquiesce, I guess. Oh no no no. I have to say thank you Melway Bytes for the notification. I will go to Chatty and Ableton and Ableton 23 12, and I will say I won't say anything about my day. I'll say goodbye, have fun, and everything else, you know. Bye.